Good evening, boys and girls. I have a story tonight called Where Animals Live, Animals in the Arctic. The Arctic is the North Pole. And this book is by John Wood. What is a habitat? A habitat is a place where animals live. It provides the animal with food, shelter, and everything it needs to survive. A polar bear on the Arctic ice. So that's part of his habitat. There are many different habitats in the world. Each one is home to several different animals. There's forests, deserts, oceans, mountains, and rainforests. So there's lots and lots of different habitats. The Arctic. The Arctic is an area around the North Pole which is very cold. It is made up of the Arctic Ocean and all the land around it, the North Pole. The Arctic is home to many animals in the winter. It can become too cold for some animals, so they move south. This is called migration. These are northern lights which appear in the Arctic sky, which is something I would love to see. So if you get to go up north, sometimes you get to see the northern lights, which is also called the aurora borealis. Isn't that something? Arctic habitat. Many Arctic animals live on sea ice. In the cold winter, there is more sea ice. In the warm summer, some of this ice melts or breaks away. Some animals live on land in the Arctic tundra. There are no trees in the tundra because the ground is too cold. Only small shrubs and plants can grow. So this is Arctic ice and tundra. And you only see the tundra during the summer. Walruses. Walruses are often found lying on the edge of the sea ice or swimming in the Arctic Ocean. They live in big groups with hundreds of other walruses. Walruses are able to stay warm because of the blubber in their bodies. They need this blubber to stay warm in the cold waters. And you can tell it's a walrus. See his whiskers and his long tusks. Arctic terns. Arctic terns make their homes in the tundra. They dig nests in the ground called scrapes. This is where they look after their young. So this is a scrape here. Arctic terns don't live in the Arctic all year. In the winter, they migrate to Antarctica. Arctic terns migrate farther than any other animal. Well, yeah, if they live in the Arctic, that's the North Pole, and they migrate to the Antarctic, that's the South Pole. So they go from one end of the earth all the way to the other. That's a long ways to go. Wow. Lemmings. Lemmings make their homes in underground burrows in the tundra. Their burrows are made up of many different tunnels all joined together. A lemming peeks out from its hiding place. Sometimes too many lemmings are born at the same time. When this happens, large group of lemmings will migrate to find a new home with more food. So when it gets too crowded, they gotta move. Beluga whales. Beluga whales live in the Arctic Ocean near the coast. They migrate south when the Arctic Ocean becomes too icy for the winter. A group of beluga whales is called a pod. There are often around 10 whales in a pod. They talk to each other by chirping, clicking, and whistling. The ones at the Shedd Aquarium are very good mimics. They can mimic all kinds of sounds. Polar bears. Polar bears live on the Arctic ice. Their white fur makes them harder to see against the ice. This helps them sneak up on their prey. Female polar bears make dens in the snow. This is where they raise their cubs. Polar bears usually have 2 cubs. A polar bear in his den. Danger. When harmful gases from cars, airplanes, and factories go into the air, they trap the heat on the earth and cause the planet to warm up. This is called global warming, and it's putting the Arctic animals in danger. Global warming melts the ice in the sea ice in the Arctic. This makes it harder for some animals to survive. When an animal is finding it hard to survive, it is said to be endangered. And polar bears are endangered, unfortunately. Ringed seals. Some types of ringed seals are endangered. Because global warming is melting the sea ice, many seals have nowhere to live and raise their young. Siberian cranes. During the Arctic summer, Siberian cranes live in the tundra, but as the world gets warmer, the cold tundra is disappearing. This means Siberian cranes have less space to look for food. And that's it. So that's our story about animals in the Arctic. I hope you enjoyed it. Good night, sleep tight, and happy dreams. Bye now.